Call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, agenda changes or additions?
Yes. There's a couple from the version you've got. It's on your online version, but
Okay.
I just want to let you know, 15 on consent would be approved, Tess Sandstrom's maternity leave. And then number 16 would be accept the contract for Noah Jurek, a new Fayette teacher.
Anything else? Is that,
No, I think on your version.
is the paper copy, I'll have the, under good things happening, number 6 is the Third River Conference. Okay, there's a number 6, Third River Conference.
Well, this
yeah,
is
it is.
good things happen.
Oh.
This is the old
Under
one.
good things happening,
Okay.
number 6.
I have to apologize because Sherry was sick today, and she's the one that usually runs these off, so.
No, Great River Conference,
What was number
championship
6?
team, I don't know what it
Great
is.
River Conference.
Great River Conference.
Is it that one?
Yeah, it's that one. I believe it's on the
You banned.
It should be on online. All right, if there's a,
The current, or the correct, okay, agenda item number 7 also is consider approving 150 hours of band summer lessons. I'll talk about that. The correct version is on your online version of it.
okay. Are there any other corrections or?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
All right, we've got a motion to
I'll
approve the
second.
agenda. Thank you. Second, all in favor of approving the agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion regarding the
Yeah,
consent
we're
agenda?
losing some good old time
We
teachers.
are losing the number of
Yes.
people, yes, so
Yeah.
thank you to those retiring, thank you to those who have put in the resignation, and congratulations to our new teachers, and
Okay, I just want to say that I had Michelle Michelson as a student, so now we know I'm really old. And she's retiring, that's
it's full
great.
circle, so.
Yeah,
What's the change on Sandstrom?
There's no change. She put in for maternity leave.
How long?
I just gave you the letter right there. It's September 17th through January 2nd.
I thought we were just doing halftime.
You are, but she has a right to do maternity leave as well.
So we're gonna hire somebody full-time until January, and then it's gonna be half.
Probably.
I see we have summer school for the summer of, normally what we do. Do we advance more summer school? Are we doing that you were going to check into, Billy?
That's the one that we had talked about.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
So we have a motion and a second, if there's no other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carries. All right. Public participation, we've got a number of folks who filled out yellow cards. We want to speak. Just a reminder that you're given 3 minutes. Jamie's going to watch and give you a countdown for 2 and for 1. And the board will not interact with you. We'll listen respectfully. We ask you to also just address us respectfully in return. And we'll go from there. So first up, Michael Olson.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Michael Olson, and I am a freshman here at Moose Lake High School. I am here to address the rumors that have been spreading for some time around both the Moose Lake and Willow River communities. Whether or not it is true, people are beginning to believe that some members of the Moose Lake School Board are looking for reasons to end the 30-plus year Rebels Sports Cooperative. I have talked with many friends and community members who are worried that the rumors might be true. With me tonight, I have a petition with 277 signatures of people who want to make sure that the sports cooperative continues into the future for decades to come. The petition reads, "Dear members of the school board, the consideration of the split of the 32-year-old sports cooperative between Moose Lake and Willow River schools is worrisome. We believe the pros of the sports cooperative far outweigh the cons. We fully support continuing the cooperation between Moose Lake and Willow River schools. The undersigned are made up of students, parents, fans, athletes, former and current, community members, and coaches. We see no value in dissolving the cooperative, and as a matter of fact, we only see benefits in continuing the cooperative financially, academically, and athletically." The word academically was brought into question at last week's liaison meeting. Using that word, I never meant to indicate that the Moose Lake's academics are connected to Willow River's academics. The reason academically is in the petition is that the studies have shown again and again that student athletes tend to do better academically than students that do not participate in athletics. So if we have a good, strong sports cooperative and kids in both schools are participating, academic scores in both schools can benefit. I have some copies of some studies if you guys would like to read them. This petition has provided people in the communities of Moose Lake and Willow River a chance to share their concern with you. If the intent of the school board is not to end the cooperative, then from this point forward, I would respectfully ask that only discussion, both in board meetings and out in public, concerning the sports cooperative is to determine how to make it stronger. If the concern of the members of the liaison committee is that there have been limited participation from students at Willow River School, then perhaps we can use our efforts to find ways to increase their participation rather than finding ways to exclude students that want to participate. Thank you for your time and consideration. I have to go to a choir concert.
Thank you, Michael. Andy Dahl.
Same as Mr. Olson there. I think a lot of us are here probably just to address rumors, which, could have absolutely no truth, no value whatsoever. But we filled this room based on those rumors. So continuing on what he said, I listened to the YouTube video from the last meeting, and it seems like a lot of the thought was, if we can play down, we would do so much better. And the fact of the matter is there's absolutely no truth to that. And it's, to me, it's kind of what are we doing, creating a bunch of bullies? Let's go play lower competition so we can win more. It's simply not the case. You can look across any sport. Obviously, my background is football. For those who don't know me, I coach football for Moose Lake, Willow River. And every year that we make it real far, we wind up running into Caledonia. And I can promise you, they're a borderline 1A football school, and they would dominate 3A, 2A, 1A without a problem. So playing down your competition doesn't make anybody better. All the collegiate research, anyone that's minored in coaching or taking collegiate classes, the reason high school students participate in athletics is not to win state championships. I would love to have state championship rings, both as a player, as a coach. This community would love to have state championships in any sport. But that's not why kids should play sports, win championships. It should be about providing better opportunities, and I think keeping the cooperative together is what's going to provide that opportunity more than anything else. Not about winning. That's all I really got.
Thank you. John Wesley.
First off, thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. First, I want to commend Michael for taking the action that he did with the petition. I think as a school and as a community, we need to be proud that we're raising children that are willing to take that step. I was very impressed when I first heard about him doing this. As far as the cooperative, I think it's a wonderful thing. I have absolutely no Laker history, no Wildcat history, but I am a proud Rebel. My second child is graduating in just a few days. But I've learned a bit by supporting Michael. And I think the biggest thing I've learned is that there are rumors out there. And as Thane said, a lot of these rumors start with certain board members talking outside of the meetings, which they have the right to do it. This is America, and we have right to free speech. But something I just want to remind the board members of is you're all kind of like Dean Witter. When you talk, people listen. And people take those conversations serious, and it continues on throughout the community, stirs up a lot of emotions, and the thing that bothers me the most about it is I think it has a negative effect on our kids. I think they get scared and worried about it. So I would just like to ask the board members, and I'm not pointing fingers at anybody here, to think before you speak out in the community, because people do listen. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Guile Nelson?
I do want to thank Mr. Olson for his great work on this. I was on a committee and on the school board way back when we went about to do this operation. I have also heard all the negatives being spoke out. Running the hockey arena, we hear it a lot down there. I think a lot of time and effort was put into this cooperation way back when, and I don't want to see anything happen to it either. It just, it's for the kids, for the benefit of the kids. And I agree, there's a lot of rumors going around, and I think we should squelch them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Lastly, Louis Buckowitz.
I'm old and slow, so you gotta wait. I was on the board for many years, and I was on when we first formed it like 30 years ago. And in this process, a number of times, not a number, a few times, we had a real, Julie would have been on at some point of it. But anyway, we would get conflict, you know, and most of the time it would be parents that would be the problems. So one year, I don't know if Julie can remember, we had all the eligible athletes from Willow and Moose Lake vote. And it came overwhelming that they wanted to be. So the students, what you're hearing from him, they want it. And sometimes we as parents get a personal interest in this baby. And it happened in our time probably 3-4 times. And it usually would be, we'd get a different board member and they'd have it, you know, we gotta work it out. And as long as the kids want it, they know what they want. They know what's helping them so that their future might be the best that it can. You know, I think just listen to the kids. Listen to them deeply. I got a minute yet, so I'm going to go on another. This isn't only for this, is it?
Oh, no.
Is it?
What else you got?
Can I speak?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It kind of bothers me. We got a $43 million school, and it's not completed. And it has to be completed, whatever. I think maybe we can even pass a bond issue. If we put all the things together, it's not going to be easy. We asked for a lot. But it just hurts me that, and I've been involved with Kids Plus from way down, I still am. And kids and education that's my life. I got nothing else. So let's get this thing completed sometime, somehow. And we might have some alumni out there that might have bucks. You can laugh, but I think that if we put it serious, that we're so close, we got such a neat school, we need an athletic complex that compromises, so that we're proud of our school. I can't be too proud when I have that. It's hard for me to, and I want to be proud of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis.
Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you to the public for their participation. Moving on, we've got some presentations. Art and music curriculum presentation.
I'm getting up.
Okay?
I'm stuck in the chair.
You're not old. I know, I'm getting old. Okay, so just pass one around.
Thank you.
All right, visual art curriculum was rewrote, and we're at the stage now that we're gonna implement it for next year. So here is what I have come up with. All our art classes are now meeting the national standards, which I am basing all our classes on, these requirements, because national standards are the driven part to the state standards. So it is a priority, and they are the ones that write the state standards. So we are going to base that off the national. So the grading rubric that we have is going to be changing. That fits the national expectations. A copy of that and the explanation is on my webpage. I have a full webpage with all my classes, all lessons for any parents in this room. If you ever need to see what I'm teaching, it is there for you. So you go to the Moose Lake and then my webpage is there. The changes that we're implementing is that there will be no more every other year offerings for the high school. There is too much of a delay taking a level 1 course, and it has come to be up to 2 to 3 years before I see the kids again. So we have to reteach and redo after 3 years of teaching that class. Then we have removed 2 courses, which is sculpture and printmaking, and are still being offered though as independent study. I am also teaching those courses, those subjects in the elementary and junior high. It stops at 8th grade, and then they choose from there on out what we're going to be, or what they want to take. So K through 7 will still get those offered to them, so they get the experience and know what it is about. 8th grade art is now going to be drawing 1. This is my prereq for all classes that need to be taken through the senior high level as their electives. Drawing 1 is in colleges. It's a prereq in colleges. Same thing, you need those drawing skills to work with the other courses. We are now dividing up the courses that we offer. We are offering the 3 fine arts, which is your drawing classes, ceramics, and painting. And then we're offering the media arts, because now the national standards has switched out fine arts from media arts, so it is a separate category in the national standards and state. So the media arts are also going to be graphic design, video production, and photography, but I'm splitting photography. The old black and white is going to be your fine arts. The digital is then the media arts with the animation and those programs and video.
Is that just you then, or is that what?
I am doing all the high school, yes. So all 3 are being, so we have the 3 and 3, so they get the split at the high school level. In the lower levels though, I'm still teaching them the media. It starts in 4th grade as per state requirements. We offer some dabbling in the video and the animation and some of the computer and the sculpt making and that part of it. We are still in a little bit of need of an increase on our general budgets. Our budget is getting tight. Mary and I have truly reconfigured our lessons. We're using every little bit of supply that we still have left, but I am looking for an increase for both elementary and high school for $200 more, because the prices keep going up, and I am this year not able to buy all my supplies for my classes right now. Though I want to thank Bob for letting me purchase my pug mill, and I've been doing a cost effect, and so I've been saving up to 300 pounds of clay, which is $156 per year. So the pug mill is recycling that amount for me every year. That will continue. I'm still sending out quite a big fines. I have a lot of stuff that has been getting damaged that is pretty expensive, and I'm not seeing their cost recovery on that. Right now we're over $100 because kids have broken cameras or batteries. That cost recovery, pouring glaze down the sink and all that, good stuff. I've gone through 600 pencils because kids are taking them and walking out of my room with them. And I'm not about taking a shoe and going to do that with 200 kids per trimester. So I am going to look at possibly seeing if we could purchase one of those pencil eraser pen dispensers. They are 10 cents or 25 cents. You put a quarter in, you get the machine to help with those, because again, I went through 600 pencils last year and 600 this year. Sorry, some things just start walking out of my room and I don't see the stuff. So for the curriculum money and the money that we're spending, we are, some of the things that we're going to get is some proper display. We don't have a good way of showing the artwork. So I'm looking at some better art displays that we can host, because we're gonna be hosting the art show this year, the state one. Next year, I mean, yeah, well, it's this year. So I'm looking at some better stuff to display work. Other people can use the display boards. I'm doing a walker system where we can hang artwork, like in the boardroom. I'd like to continue to hang artwork in the boardroom and throughout the building. So we're finding various things that will fit throughout the building there. I'm getting airbrush and graphic tablets, a state workstation, printing presses, some kilns, and more stuff that we need to function in my classroom. And then the last thing, we are seeing a decrease in a student contact time in the elementary due to the 7-day rotation. Again, we did gain back first grade because we were not having those guys. With this though, we are losing a huge amount of time, and so we're not going to meet all the standards at the elementary level at this point. It is an issue right now for me. So that is our curriculum. Again, everything for you guys is online. All the links are there for you. If you guys have any questions or concerns, just give me a holler. I'm there to help you guys if you need anything clarified. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Anybody have any questions?
Oh, questions, yes.
What's a pug mill?
Grind up little pugs.
And you can reconstitute it.
Okay, yeah, like you wet it, you moisten it up, then
Yeah,
it's...
Yeah, it's like a big old meat grinder.
Okay.
I get the clay wet again.
And my second question is, when's the last time your budget was increased? How long has it been?
Over
Been a while.
10, 15
She
years,
has the
as far as
same
I know.
one.
I don't know when the last time it was increased, so.
Okay, I didn't think so.
They haven't been increased since 1977.
Go ahead.
I havened...
Oh, I bet it is.
I will take them, I will take them, like I
Increase
said.
on the library one.
A lot of things walk out of my room and don't come back.
No, we
So, but,
get
yeah.
about that many at the end of the year when we clean out lockers.
I will take them back, I will take them, pick them up on
Send them your way.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Guys.
I've got stuff for you.
Oh.
I'm not going over this whole thing, so don't worry.
Perfect, thank you.
Once you have an extra, then I'll just take one.
I have an extra. I got plenty. We'll show Scott. Hello, I'm Ryan Hansen, the new band guy this year. So it's been a great year, and I'm going to talk about that after I start off with some course objectives and the outline and what the curriculum was. It's been to provide challenging and meaningful experiences that guide the understanding of music concepts along with the performance techniques of high-quality repertoire. Students in bands study musical elements including rhythm, pitch, blend, tone quality, phrasing, articulation, expression, and style interpretation. Students will demonstrate processing skills in large group ensembles and or solo instrumental performance. The daily classroom routine will frequently consist of warm-ups, tuning, scale, articulation, rhythmic development, intonation, tone quality, balance development, music theory, sight reading, listening, and preparation of our music performances. Elementary band students will participate in weekly lessons on their instruments and also once a week as a large group. And once implemented, junior high and senior high band members will partake in weekly lessons during their regular large class with McPhail Music, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a moment. And all students are welcome to try out for jazz bands. Senior high students will also be a part of the pep band, which performs basically at all the games, which are many. It's another concert in itself, basically. So they're not only doing the 3 concerts in the year, they're playing at all the pep band games that we're doing. And I try to implement at least 4 to 6 games per sport per season. What we do in Minnesota High School State League does about 16 per year. So much of the curriculum that I've been using this year kind of comes from myself and kind of comes from a lot of the books that are already there, and a lot of the budget money that I've had for this year. I'm able to buy some of the books that we use. We use a lot of stuff online, but what we need basically I'm looking for is some of the updated equipment. Because a lot of times the students, when they need to, if they need a book, a lot of times parents will buy that book, and if I ask them to get it, they'll be able to get that. And I have a lot of the books right now, and if something else comes up, with that budget money we have yearly, that we can purchase that and getting new music. Now the equipment comes into play where, like, this year I'd like to purchase 2 sousaphones. Sousaphone is a marching tuba, but a lot of the times what we'd like to use it for is for the pep band games. Instead of the students bringing a concert tuba, which is very expensive, we're finding out, and to bring that to a pep band game where it could get damaged more when they're moving it so much, and use that for a concert band. And the sousaphones basically could lead into possibly a future marching band at some point, with kid interest in that, playing at more games and getting more kids interested in that. A lot of the other equipment that the school supplies are percussion equipment, where the students aren't going to be buying $1,000 gongs and other pieces of that kind of equipment. So
I see in some of the music stores, like up in the Duluth Mall and stuff, they have, it appears the instruments are made of fiberglass. So is that a, is that a concept that would
yes,
be good?
the sousaphones, the tubas or the sousaphones are fiberglass, but now there's also, they're coming out with plastic instruments also, that there's like a P-bone, and it's called a P-trumpet and everything else, and it's great for pep band, not great for concert band. So one thing I don't really want to implement that yet, because it's very affordable, but yet when it comes to a concert, the other equipment that's made out of brass and the quality metals and stuff is going to be far more superior at the concerts. It's great for Christmas Day and North Parade, so your instrument doesn't freeze up.
Yeah, right.
Great.
Oh, McPhail, I did want to talk about that. Another thing I would like to implement next year, I know, I'm not sure how it has been in the past. I know this year, I believe Miss Ellens wasn't teaching 2nd grade before, and she had more time for some other lessons for the junior high and senior high. Well, this year I haven't had hardly any time to see them one-on-one or even by section. So a thing that I'd like to do, and I've worked in the past at my former school, is McPhail Arts, and what that is, it's basically a lesson that is Skyped, or if you have a telepresence, once a week I'll have a section leave just the band room if I'm still working with the students. If, let's say, the flutes, their lesson time is up once a week, they'll go into one of the new practice rooms, which will be accessible for the students, and they'll have a lesson with another musician from down at McPhail. So it'll be a half an hour to a 45-minute lesson, and it's great. One big benefit for that I like is, rather than me giving the lessons all the time, they're actually learning from other musicians, and it's very beneficial for them getting pointers from other people rather than just me. Oh, Mr. Hansen's going to tell me what to do again. So.
Do the brass students know what their embouchure is?
They should.
All right.
Yes. If not, there'll be other lessons, and they
All
can
right.
ask
Good deal.
more questions. So.
I talked to those McPhail folks when we were down at MSBA, and that seems like a really cool deal.
Yep. Oh, it works out really well. So, and then there can be, I can write a grant for some of that also, and I use some of the other budget money possibly from that, and some of the curriculum money. So.
I love the fact that you talked about maybe possibly a marching band in the future, because it's really gonna, it's
That's the
close to
magic
my heart to
words.
be able to have a marching band and a parade in Moose Lake,
Yeah.
Moose Lake band suits. We haven't seen that for a long
You
time.
know, it's got to be kind of kid-driven a little bit with that, because it is kind of tough, especially when it's summertime. You know, but I do have some younger kids. When I mentioned it, there's a little bit of interest in there, so we can see where that
It
goes.
used to be a requirement of lettering in band. You had to be in so many events, including at least how many parades. My kids were in school, which isn't that long ago. Maybe.
So do the kids, speaking of lettering, do the kids letter in band?
Yes, right now I'm having the jazz band members letter right now. I'm working on, and I'll implement more students depending on how many pep band games that they attend. They can letter from there, especially by their senior year if they finish out though.
And I like the bass that you added to the pep band. I think it sounds good.
I'm trying to have some more younger kids pick that up so it's not me all the time.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This sounds exciting.
Another question? At the concert? Choir concert tonight, so. All right, thank you, thank you. All right. Bob, do you want to introduce wrestling as a potential sport?
Are we on that already?
Yeah.
Let me think, is somebody here from the wrestling club? Okay. One of the things that Superintendent Phil Johnson asked me to bring up to you is whether we'd be interested in joining a cooperative like we have with hockey now. But in this case, Willow would host wrestling, and they were wondering if we would be interested in allowing our students to be part of that cooperative. And I think I will let, what's your name?
Pete Thompson.
Pete, okay, I know Sarah and I've met you before, but Pete, why don't you talk a little bit about wrestling and what you guys are looking for?
What are we looking for? Basically, we started a youth program 4 years ago now. And we started, my kids wrestled in Cloquet, and they got sick of driving 4 nights a week, and like, I don't want to do it no more, I'm going to quit. I'm like, well, you're pretty good at it, you know. And they're like, well, why can't we do it in Moose Lake? And I was like, well, Moose Lake don't have mats. And Sarah's like, well, Willow used to have mats. So we asked Willow if we could use their mats and open it up to other kids. And they said, yeah. And so I told Sarah, I'm like, oh, this would be sweet if we get like 12 kids, you know, that'd be pretty sweet. We ended up with like 54 kids our first year. So, and obviously, it's a little bit harder than what somebody thinks. So now this year, we started out with 54, this year we ended up with 33. So obviously, our numbers have gone down a little bit, but I think we found our core number now that we're gonna stick with. The way I see, this is just I'm a construction worker, not a teacher by any means, but so the way I would see this working is Willow River and Moose Lake join together. It's very similar, like the hockey association works.
Are you looking at other schools as well besides Moose Lake and,
Yep.
and Willow River?
So, well, I went to Willow River first because we already practiced there. And during that meeting 2 weeks ago, we talked about East Central, Cromwell, Barnum. I think that was it. So we have talked to other ones, but it was just kind of thrown out there of, do we want to keep it as Rebels or do we want to keep it as Willow River area? And so that was kind of where the school board was going to take it. They were going to see who was all interested in doing that. As far as, I don't know if you want to get into cost. Do you want to get into that kind of stuff, or?
I don't know that that's necessary yet. I think we're just going to be looking for a general commitment. We know the concept where we would be paying per student who participated, just like we charge for people.
Yeah, and so some of our kids right now, we estimate about 55 of our kids are from Willow, 55% of them, 40% from Moose Lake, and 5 or 10% from other, homeschool or. We got a couple of kids from East Central. I do have a couple of kids from Barnum that do go to Cloquet right now that would love to come join us if there's a high school sport. And so the reason why we were originally went to go ask Willow River is because once our kids hit 6th grade, they can't really compete at a competition no more unless they're associated with the high school. And so I don't want to offer these kids, 3-4 years of come out and wrestle. Oh, sorry, you hit 7th grade, you can't wrestle no more. So I've been doing this for 4 years now, and now we're getting some of the older kids that would love to keep going and see this interest. So then I talked to school, and hopefully we can work something out.
Were you a wrestling coach in high school? I mean, a wrestling participant in high
school? I was.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And what area high schools have wrestling right now? Where would we compete?
Oh, we would compete right here. So they're all over the place. So we can start at North Shore has it, Superior has it, Cloquet, Hibbing, Virginia. I believe like Uplifts goes to Virginia.
Well, I think like Laura in those areas that has a too, don't they?
Yeah, they're all over. So then you get Maple, Wisconsin, then you get Rush City, teams up with Hinckley, then you get Mora and Aiken and Grand Rapids.
It used to be non-existent around here, and it's just really made a.
Right.
I mean, I know it's always been big in southern Minnesota, but it seems like it's.
Yeah, it's growing out.
Growing northward.
So yeah, It's big. So Cloquet sent a couple people to state this year. Proctor sent their first guy to state this year. Kind of the newer teams in the area, so it's good to see it grow, and I enjoy it.
You said you've got about 33 participants right now?
This year, yeah.
What's the age range for those 33?
So they go from 3rd grade to 12th grade. Needless to say, we don't have many participants from, I'd say like 8th graders, maybe 2, 1 9th grader, 4, 5, 7th graders. And then obviously the smaller you get, the more they're interested. So that's kind of about what that stands.
How many are on a wrestling team? I mean,
So on a varsity team, there's 14.
okay,
So
I know nothing about
Yep.
wrestling.
So then if you don't make the top 14, then you're on a JV team. So you actually get a match every time. And as long as there's someone from the other team that's within 5 pounds from you, you can wrestle.
It goes by weight then?
Yep.
Okay.
So it starts out at 106 as your bottom weight, and then it goes all the way up to heavyweight, which is about 289. So.
Are we gonna meet for a committee or something?
Yeah, this is just a discussion today, and then you guys will have some time, if you would like to have an actual committee, like another liaison type thing, you can do that, that's fine. I didn't put it on the agenda, so if you want to do that, make sure you do that.
And I could come talk to them too,
Yeah.
give you the full
Give us some
presentation.
numbers or.
Yeah, hard costs and numbers and. So.
Anybody else? Any other questions for Pete? Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
Not to scare everybody, but lacrosse is coming up here now too more, so that's next.
Who's gonna be lacrosse next week?
It's fun to watch. I never saw a game for like a week ago. Oh my goodness.
Bob, you have a superintendent report for us?
Yeah, I also wanted to thank all the people who are retiring and leaving us. It seems to be like one of the bigger years that we've had for that. And so we have a lot of experienced people and leaving us. And it's going to be interesting. A lot of hiring for Greg and Billy Joe. I just wanted to let you know that AFSCME would like to negotiate. They've given us the official letter, so I put that on the agenda that we're looking at getting meeting with them. Also a big deal for a lot of the AFSCME employees and various other people is that we are now moving to PEAK, the insurance pool. We did the HITA process, and without a doubt, it's not even close. We're going to PEAK. The cost savings is phenomenal for that, and it seems like they have pretty good services, so that's what we're going to be doing. We're kind of looking at, and Craig's going to talk about this later, but it's got a concept of looking at how we can look at strengthening our reading program, and it's kind of evolving a little bit, but I'm supportive of the general concept that he's going to be talking about. Also, summer band lessons, this is on a little bit later, and this was something that I just want to give you. The recommendation is going to be 150 hours. You do this every year, but is Ryan still here? Or did he leave?
Instructor was just here, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Got enough? But anyhow, he's recommending that that we go for 150 hours. He feels he can get about 50 students this summer, and it's something that's been kind of important to get lessons. It's really difficult to get students lessons, so I just wanted you to know that.
Will they be here or will they be at the new school?
Yes.
He would like to do them in July and August, so they would be up at the new facility then.
How much do the kids pay on that?
Yeah, $10 an hour.
The student portion would be $30 for the whole summer worth of lessons.
For a half an hour or 60
For half
for an hour.
over the whole, right.
Okay.
Just Just wanted to update you on the number of students we have. I didn't do that last month, so we're at 655. We really held strong this year. We're down about 4 or 5 from the beginning of the year, which is good for us. We typically taper off here at the end, and we're holding pretty strong with the number of students that we've got. Also, I wanted to tell you, I'm disappointed in this, but you know, we had thought maybe we'd be done or substantially done with the building, which it is. I mean, it's almost done now as you walk in there, but problem is we still have workers there and we have big equipment that's happening. You'll start to see the asphalt, the second layer of asphalt going down next week, and we have Casper with their big machinery out there leveling out the lots outside the school. We were going to have a June 1st parade up to the new school, but we're having many obstacles. We also have 73, which is a one-lane thing now, and to have a parade down 73 may not be the best of things right now, but the big deal is a liability issue. We do not have substantial completion, and Bolt is recommending that we do not do it June 1st. And so I just want to let you know, I just found this out today. So, bottom line is that I'm going to recommend that we don't do it June 1st. And we'll have to get the transition committee together again and just talk about this. That's all I've got. I should have had that
I should have
first.
the building supposed to be done like in March.
What's that?
I thought it was supposed to be done like March or
Yeah, well, it's mostly done. If you walk in there, you'll see it's pretty much done now. The trails was almost all polished, and once that happens, the problem is we've got all that big equipment out there, and then we don't have the, what's that, certificate of occupancy. So we've got some liability issues if we don't have that.
All right, thank you. Billy Jo sent her principal report. Do you have some things you'd like to highlight, Billy Jo?
Not really. I have to buzz out here in a couple minutes for the concert, so
Okay.
I won't say anything unless you have some questions or need clarifying or anything.
Questions? No? Okay.
Last Monday was students today. Last week of seniors, and yeah, not that we're counting down, but no. We did move the award ceremony, and so we've talked about this for next year because it always seems like we have kids who have to leave early and miss that awards, and we just didn't want them to miss out on it, so we made that a little earlier, and then we'll just look at, you know, now that we'll have an auditorium, we don't have to set up stuff in the gym ahead of time. That's why we've done it so close to graduation, is so we're not, you know, making that gym useless for bio classes all week. So, so we were talking about doing it earlier in May than next year. So hopefully avoid some chaos.
The award ceremony is the 25th right now.
It is, yes.
The curriculum committee, could you just do a quick little thing, whatever you guys discussed? Or?
Yeah, well, you know what we did, our last meeting, we just discussed the art stuff and prepared them for coming to talk to you about it. So, yeah, that's all we did last meeting.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Good. All right, thank you. And elementary report, Craig?
You got my report, but I just want to speak to the playground. For those of you that have devices, you can call it up, or I do have some hard copies. You want to go old school here and get a paper copy. Jay Weber is our contact from Miracle, or I should say our contractor that we're going to be working with. The playground committee actually had an opportunity to meet with him, do some fine tuning and get things, take things out, add some things. There were some items on clearance. We had some little savings with the wood fiber chips that we're looking at getting, that Bob's got a contact for. We also did some fine tuning with getting at sandboxes, timbers, buddy benches, 2 buddy benches, and some shipping costs that came out. So Jay actually finalized that this morning, and the quote that I'm providing with you right now is the up-to-date quote and the up-to-date concept of the playground. So the total right now is just over $123,000. I think without a doubt, we're confident that Jay Weber was by far one of the most knowledgeable people in regards to playgrounds. Miracle is like a $90 million annual company worldwide, and he says we'll get her in for sure by on or before Labor Day, and we just need to get things rolling very soon because the materials alone are on about a 5 to 6 week turnaround. So once the contract is signed, we get going and ordering it out of Missouri, and then they get going right out from these plants here. So if you have any questions.
This is bigger than what we currently have? What's the size compared?
This one, if you look on
this
the
layout looks bigger than what we have.
Yeah, I would say so. It's 100 and, if you go back kind of to the aerial view or the view looking, I should say the satellite view, because looking down on the top, you can see the dimensions, 120 by 82.
You were close to what we approved. Very close, Craig.
There's another little caveat to that too, is I think if we pay them with a check, I think he takes off another 1% or 2%.
That'll get you closer.
So.
To 122.
122.
Any other questions?
2 cents.
Anybody have any other questions for Craig?
Do you have an extra one of those?
Also, Thursday is annual track and field day. You get an opportunity to make it out. Let's see if Jennifer Dungeon's records still stand after Thursday. All right, that's it.
Thank you. All right. Board committee reports.
Is the athletic liaison on that then?
I can go really quick because elementary site committee did meet, and they are working on a number. Well, they were really just getting ready for track and field. That's pretty much. They've had some. There's some ideas about, or someone came to them with some ideas about putting some putting in a garden up there, and so they're kind of working through that. And I'm sure we'll hear more about that as it goes on. But then most of it was just about all the logistics of track and field day. I now know more about track and field day than I've ever had before. And so if you have any questions, I can probably direct traffic on Thursday. So I'm not going to advertise that though. So don't put that in the paper, please. No.
Okay.
So I think the athletic liaison was the other. If you want to cover that, Jamie?
You know, for the first time in 30 years, we finally met to talk about some of the numbers, like we're supposed to do, just like any other committee does with finance, et cetera. And we had talked about a lot of different things with Tony. I'm sorry, but I had some family medical stuff going on that I wasn't able to compile it all. But one of the things that we did discover was, one of the oddities was the golf, which I'd been talking about for the last 8 years, was the numbers that were many years where there was 0 Willow River kids. And it was talked about a cooperative should at least have something or someone and then in there to be a cooperative. We were going to recommend to not be in golf anymore, but we'll have to get back some more numbers from Tony and go over how much it is. Golf was $5,500 a year for us and $4,436 for Willow River for a total of $9,900. I'll save my speech for later. I just, yeah, I'll save it for later.
All right. Anything else? Other committees?
Negotiations, we'll be setting up meetings, but we just got meetings scheduled, we have not met.
Okay.
Does this mean we can start with AFSCME or going to start with AFSCME? Are we going to meet as a board to talk about that?
Yeah, that's
strategy.
It's on the list. The finance meeting before the strategy. All right. Then good things happening, Bob?
all right. school district received $250 donation from Joe and Lee Mogan for band curriculum. Thank you for that. The school district received $230.50 donation from Leah Gerard to help with overdue lunch accounts. Much appreciated. Congratulations to Marin Mesajetic and Ruby Mahalski for winning the two-person golf scramble in Mora. The entire girls golf team placed second overall out of 9 teams. Congratulations to the boys track team for being crowned champions at the True Team section meet on May 9th. They will compete at the state True Team meet on May 20th, which has already happened. This is a Rebel Boys' 4th consecutive trip to state True Team meet. Congratulations to Polar League Conference champions Sam Coyle in the shot put, Ethan Olson in the 1600 meter run, and Kennedy Bryant for the triple jump. Kennedy also set a new conference record of 34.
That should probably be feet,
Yeah.
3 inches.
There we go. Congratulations to Hunter Klun, Ruby Mahalski, Marin Mesajetic, and Adri Dobozinski for making all conference at the Great River Conference. The girls won the Great River Conference Championship as well, or as a team as well. Future Hope Vang, Marin Mesajetic, Ruby Mahalski, Adri Dobozinski, Ellie Newman, and Emily Bonsack.
Is this track?
Golf.
Golf.
No, okay.
All right, those are some of the good things happening.
Great, thank you. On to agenda items. First agenda item, consider accepting the $250 donation from Joe and Lee Mogan for band curriculum. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Then with a thank you for the donation to Joe and Lee. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Second, consider accepting the donation of $230.50 donation from Leah Gerard to help with overdue lunch accounts. Can I get a motion for that, please?
Motion.
All right, second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Well, then again, with a thank you for the donation. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Third on the agenda, consider increasing the athletic activity fee by $5 for the 2017-2018 school year, but keeping the family season max at $130. Can we get a motion for that?
I'll motion.
Okay, and a second? I'll second that. Any discussion?
Has that gone to the Willow River Board yet?
This is a recommendation from the liaison committee.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't, I don't know actually when they're meeting.
Okay, so I was just wondering.
So we'll, if approved here, it'll go to the Willow and then,
I think it just goes to both boards.
okay. All right, so we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of increasing the athletic fee by $5 for 17-18 and keeping the family max at 130, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, consider going out for quotes for bread, milk, newspaper, garbage, and snow plowing for the school year of 2017-2018.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, can we get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Then all in favor of going out for quotes for the bread, milk, newspaper, garbage, and snow plowing for the 2017-18 school year? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have a question. So,
Yes?
snow plowing, do we know where we're pushing the snow?
Well,
Down toward, I think the south side toward Nebraska Road, I think, so it drains to the south.
Okay, just keep it in mind, because it will snow as we're sitting here. Thank you.
Right now? Oh. Number 5, consider how to respond to the Willow River's request for Moose Lake's commitment to the Rebel Athletic Cooperative. Bob, you want to give us a little history on that?
As you know, at our joint meeting with full boards, we were talking about facilities and stuff, and Willow River asked what our commitment to the cooperative was, and there wasn't a response, and so we just said that we were going to bring it back to our board and have a discussion about it, and then we would get back to them on our commitment. So that's kind of the history.
Do they consider improving their football field.
Yeah, they're looking specifically, I mean, they're looking at the whole thing, but specifically football is their issue right now because they're looking at putting money back into their football field and they just want to know if we're going to be part of that.
Why wouldn't they just do it anyway? Just wondering.
Yeah.
We do lots of improvements on ours without, we improved the baseball field and just built a $34 million school. I guess this is the point where it bothers me that I have people in this community who think that I don't think anything other than, I do nothing but think about this community and this school and our kids in it. And if anybody thinks that I, as a person who would get out of the cooperative if we did vote, which I've told everybody and I've never kept this a secret, it can't happen anyway because we don't have the facilities. For the last 30 years, I think we've done a disservice to our kids in not having built or done anything to our facilities, including the new baseball fields, softball fields, football fields, and that track. We're getting on board with that, and it's great. But to think that I need to watch what I say and be careful what I say to people, I tell anybody and everybody, there's nothing, I haven't been secret about this since I've been on the board for the last 9 years. The thing that bothers me is we don't sit down and we don't talk about it because we're afraid that 16 people are going to come in the audience, they're going to talk to us and try to browbeat us and do whatever they do, which is their right. But it's our job as boards to sit down on our committees to figure out what's going on each of these areas. We happened to bring this one up this time because it was time. Every 2 years, or is it 3, we have to renew the cooperative, or we're supposed to. I think that's the 3.
No, we're supposed to look at the agreement, review it.
Right, and then it's every 2 years. I think we sign it.
I think, yeah, that's what, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the time to look at the numbers, and that's when we discovered the numbers with our AD. There was 0 kids in golf for several years. That's not a cooperative. A cooperative is you have kids, we have kids. And when it's only your kids, that should be pretty much only your team because you're only playing with your kids. It's not like the other sports where there's 10% of the teams to 25. The average is 25 when you put them all together % of Willow River kids and 75% of us. But that's because there's a couple that have got some very good participation. That's mainly the girls softball that puts it up there. The rest of them, they're not putting in their prerequisite amount of kids. Why? I don't know. I think that it's incumbent upon us to figure it out to try to get more of these kids participating like we have. A greater amount of our kids, 9 through 12, playing sports. And I think we could be better at our sports, and it does matter. It does matter that we compete. And it does matter that these kids are in sports, and we have to continue with this cooperative to keep kids in sports. But that's only going to happen if we start improving our fields. We have to have 2 baseball fields. It's not fair to our junior varsity kids for these last 30 years to not have a place to play while the senior high is playing. I mean, we've all talked about it a million times. It's ridiculous. We should have a football stadium where people, when they go to the bathroom, they don't have to go in an outhouse. They can wash their hands with hot water. They can have hot water in the concession stands. They can have a place to park that's more safe, that's right next to it, and not have to walk 4 or 5 blocks. That's something that maybe we should be getting Louis together on and see what we can do about alumnus or grants, or maybe we sit down and we talk about getting a loan to finish this up. Because I think it's imperative that we do that for our kids. But I would, the recommendation was to have, from our board, liaison was to have golf separate, but I don't know. That's something we all have to discuss.
Did the committee though have a recommendation to the board in how to answer the Willow River request for commitment to the cooperative?
I think we have to be in the cooperative, and we have to have a commitment to it.
We have to be in the cooperative, or we want to be in the cooperative? Like, how do we want to word this? Because I think we need to send a message back to, we need to answer the Willow River board because they've asked us. And so I guess the question is, maybe we need to put a motion up, something to, do we want to pass a resolution? Do we want to direct Bob to send a letter? We need to answer Willow, and I don't know how do we want to word that as a board to answer them in their question of, are we committed to the cooperative? And I think at the same time, this is a great opportunity to say to the public, this is our commitment to the cooperative, or our lack of commitment to the cooperative, whichever it may be.
I think we do need a letter, so. I think one of the questions that the Willow River Board had, especially, was in regards to the football field, because they want to know if we're going to stay for sure in the cooperative with football. I mean, there's many options on how to look at this cooperative. Obviously, for the most part, it's a very successful program. It saves us money. It allows Willow River kids to participate in sports that they might not have if they weren't in the cooperative.
And that's very true. And we talked a little bit about who owns the sports and stuff. And then maybe all of football should be down at Willow River. They practice and everything down there instead of part of it being up here. And then the only thing is the games. So, I mean, I would be willing to say, shift the whole football program down to Willow River, and they can take care of all the practices and figure out the fields down there. And then they've got the program, and then we talked about how with our new facilities, we'll have more gyms, so it'll be easier for the coaches to see everything. All volleyball would be up here. I mean, I don't know if we address it by individual sports. Also with golf, we can petition down, and I would like to have a philosophical, probably discussion with some people who think that that hurts our kids, and that's a philosophy, but maybe in certain instances, you don't have to do that with every sport, but there is an opportunity to petition down to the high school league, and if anybody watched the hockey tournaments this year, you know there was a big upset over who was playing single A hockey because they had 1,400 students and probably should have been in double A and stuff. And so that's always going to bring questions, but here we're talking, again, as Jamie pointed out, there's no kids in Willow in golf, so that is not a cooperative. And why are kids being punished? Our kids are being punished. That's not what's good for the kids that are playing.
But they're still paying half. I mean, approximately
well,
half
maybe
for
they
golf.
don't pay.
So why? I mean, if they're willing to pay half
Does
and
the
not put any
public know
students
that?
up, then why are we complaining about that?
Because it's not, there's nobody on it.
So what?
There's nobody on it.
That's
Yes, there
their
is.
they
There is a
can.
Willow kid. Hunter's on the golf. Nick Kenyon has played.
So there's one. I'm saying there's
Danby's
so what if
daughter
there's
comes
less
out.
Willow
Oh, yeah.
kids? If they're
Ellie.
willing to pay 50%, why are we rocking the boat on that? Why
Because of what they're
take their money?
classified.
So what? Take the Willow money if they're willing to stay to keep that in the cooperative, and it allows them to offer golf. And why are we upset about that? I don't understand.
Because of the class they get booted up to play, and that doesn't mean that Willow kids can't play, and they still wouldn't be down at single A.
Would we have a team would we still be able to play as a team? Or by losing Willow, would we no longer have enough students to make a team?
Well, no, let's see. In 2013, there was 0. No, wait. 0. 2014, there was 3 that were in 9th grade and 1 in 10th. Then in 2015, there was 0 in 9th and 2 in 10th. And then in 2016, there was 0. And this year, there's 1.
Of total students though, like if you take that one student out, I thought that was kind of one of the things that came out of that committee meeting, was that if you take that student out, you no longer have enough students to have a team.
So there was one Willow boy senior, and there was one Willow girl 8th grade, and the girl is the one that helps make the girls team up, Ellie Reed. So that's the issue.
So then if we pulled that, would we no longer have a girls' team? They'd still be able to compete individually, but not as a team, is that right? Unless we could recruit from Moose Lake to join that team.
That's a good question. I don't know.
And I don't know if that's, I don't know if that makes a deal or not. Jerry, what do you have ideas, thoughts?
Since you mentioned football down the Willow, I think there was a little confusion and misunderstanding on volleyball being played here. All of the volleyball was not. I mean, I thought they had agreed, and then right at the end, apparently, they needed to think about it.
They said they were bringing it back.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever an agreement that Willow River said they'd have a play. They said they would let us know or consider it. It had never been decided at that point.
then I must have misheard.
Yeah,
But that's
because
okay.
I did not hear them say that.
That's fine.
Volleyball would be here.
I guess in regards though to what we move back and forth or what we may pull out of the cooperative, do we need to answer all that now? Do we just need to answer Willow and their question of whether or not we're committed to the cooperative with a letter back to them stating that we are or not committed to the cooperative, and then we can work out details about moving sports back and forth? Or do you want to throw that into the
perpetually,
letter?
because who knows, you know, that we're already getting 60 of their high school kids and 43 of their elementary, I don't know.
Do you want to throw a time on it? You want to throw 10 years on it? 5 years on it?
No, we're just continuing with what we're doing.
Year to year?
Yes.
No, it's 2 years.
2 years?
It's every 2
Okay.
years.
Do we want to send a letter saying we're committed for the next 2 years?
Yep.
I mean, in that.
Are we safe to say that?
Are
And are we
you
safe to
saying-
say that
but are you
publicly then as
saying-
well?
Well, we
I
are
don't
saying
want
no,
people
but
to
are
think
you,
that we're
what
only
you're,
committed for 2 years.
are you saying that if we did that, that we would never try to build or do this complex? I mean,
Not at all, not at all. That's something we
Is that
need
why-
to discuss as a board, but I think they just want to know what's our commitment to the cooperative. If we did build, would we then pull out of the cooperative if we had our own facilities? Because we're still gonna have to come up with the money
right.
for the program. And maybe what we would do at that point in time is we'd start to split more sports back and forth. We'd play a year up here and a year down there. And would there be a problem with doing that?
But improving our facilities doesn't mean that we would split the cooperative, because wouldn't that enhance the cooperative if we
I
had better
think
facilities?
so, I think so.
It could.
And it would really offer a lot, I think, to our students. If they are doing improvements to their fields and we're completing fields up here, I think that's good for the communities, I think that's good for the students and for the sports.
If you have the participation.
If we have the participation, and maybe that's what we need to, we send a message back saying, let's both see what we can do on both sides of the school to get more participation. But then remember that participation is probably as important or more important than winning titles. I mean, it's great to bring home trophies, but the benefits of participation in sports is really,
You also have to compete at a level. You have to win some of the time. You can lose some of the time, that's okay, because that's a reality in life. But you can't always get trampled on. And when you've got kids golfing against Hermantown and Duluth East and stuff, we're in the wrong class. So there has to be a hope. And of
Right.
course, we all dream of the little Indiana team that comes and beats things, but some of that other
Willow
stuff,
River
huh?
teams.
Yeah.
So I guess does somebody want to throw a motion out there? We can put some wording on what we want to send down to Willow.
Well, I think at the last board meeting, they agreed that this needs to be rewritten. And so we need to make sure that gets done.
Okay.
But we still haven't had an answer, how come it's not 50-50 on money? It's 50-50 when we divide these sports up. It's supposed to be 50-50 on facilities, but it's not on that either. But why isn't the money the same?
Yeah.
No, I know what it
Yeah.
says, but why is it that different? I've never had an
That's how
answer
it's
on
set
that
up. We're set
from.
up, the first 50, half of it is 50/50,
Yeah.
the other half is by participation. So obviously, if they have less participants, then that puts, but we still end up financially ahead.
So that's what
because
it
the
is, is
first-
participants.
The second, one half of it is participation, half of it is right down the middle. Linda should be here, but she could tell us, but that's how it's set up. Right, Louis?
Honestly, she's explained it to me and I've
She's
never
a
told her.
That's how it's, that's why we.
I mean, I guess, Jamie, can we send a letter down telling them that we're committed to the cooperative, which then, because we're gonna meet again in a month or in a couple weeks with a working meeting. Let's say we'd like to address, within the next few months or whatever, we'd like to address things like revisiting the cooperative agreement, if there's any wording or any changes or anything we wanna look at there. We wanna look at golf, or what sports are what schools, like you mentioned,
And the
possibly.
first thing may even be just petitioning down and see what the
Right.
high school league says.
But
Because
can
we
we-
haven't we haven't ever done that, and we should have
Right.
looked at these numbers and done that before.
And maybe we need to meet full board on full board again
Right,
to
we have to wait
discuss
another
that
year.
and say, can we, but I think I don't think it's fair for us to finish our meeting tonight and not send a letter back down to them regarding our commitment, even if it has these, look, this is a list of concerns we want to address. And whether that.
I don't know, let's say we status quo, and then while this is going on, we still need to talk about these kinds of things, but status quo. We don't have the facilities even we wanted to.
I had a really good thought, but it went in one ear and out the other. What the heck was it? Shoot.
So change yours and we don't need a letter, status quo?
I think we need a letter just saying something in the lines of status quo or whatever words you want to use for it. Is it
We
still
remain
going?
committed.
Right.
We remain fully committed to the cooperative.
I think we are committed to the cooperative. I can't see, we're not planning on dropping out of the cooperative. Not one of us here is thinking about dropping out of the
You
cooperative.
can't.
Is anybody at this table not fully committed to the cooperative? Maybe that's a question we ask.
Well, I'll tell you, my concern is we spend a whole lot of money on sports and very little is talked about in terms of education, but you can spend hundreds of $1,000s on sports, and I think our priority ought to be education, not sports. And I've played sports, I understand that, but I just think in some cases it gets out of balance and that bothers me. But I'll support the cooperative.
And Jerry, I think every school board, their commitment is to the academics or education. It's just that sports sometimes gets more noise, but it doesn't mean that it's the priority of the school board.
Maybe we need to
Sports.
give more noise to education.
It would be wonderful if we could get
That's just
people
how it
here
is.
to talk about our curriculum and our teachers
Yeah.
and our
that
unbelievable
It doesn't
open
mean
enrollment
that-
numbers,
It
but
doesn't mean
nobody
we're
wants
spending
to.
more money or more
Right.
attention to
sports that gets the
That's just what it
attention.
is.
Right.
And it is important. The little Olsen boy, he's right, it is important to academics. Kids are more organized and get their homework done because they have to
They're
pick up
learning
their
But
grades.
where,
Right.
but
They're
where does
learning
it
time
say
management
that
skills.
the academics wouldn't happen regardless? I don't
There are
understand that.
studies, he's right.
No, I mean
Kids
regardless
are
of
better.
whether you're in the cooperative or not, you
Yeah,
still
oh,
have
no,
sports
that
going.
hasn't, no.
That's what I was
No, you're right about that.
confused
Yeah,
about.
academics in general
See,
are
they would
important
still
to
be
kids.
there.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's a
no, that's
misunderstanding, the way
fine.
that was written, because we do not share our academics.
Yeah, but I never
which
got
we're
that
thinking of
idea
schools.
that we were sharing academics when I heard that.
Their petition was
That did not get
very.
me.
So, do we need a motion? Do we want to just direct a letter back? Direct Bob
Direct
to,
me to write a letter.
So let's
I will
direct
send
Bob
it out
to-
to you, and if there's some big objections, you'll let me know.
and I guess the phrasing that it's direct Bob to write a letter that states that the Moose Lake School Board remains fully committed to the sports cooperative. Is that,
Yeah.
does that sound,
That's fine.
so we're fine with that?
Yes.
As it is, and I do thank you guys for, I think that the visiting with the liaison committee meeting and looking over the numbers again, I think that was valuable in this. I think that that's opened up some questions and some ideas that we've got, and we can fully discuss as we continue.
It was fascinating to go over those
Yeah.
numbers, definitely. So then I'll make a motion to direct Superintendent Enderhart to write a letter to the Willow River School Board that the Moose Lake School Board remains fully committed to the sports cooperative. Okay.
I'll second that. Any further discussion?
Maybe we should ask them if they're fully committed to the sports cooperative.
Yeah.
I think they were when they sent us that letter. I think that's what they were saying.
And you know, I want to be honest here too, there's always concerns, because I can remember back when my daughter was in volleyball, when there were 60 kids going out for volleyball and you could only keep like 12, and there were so many cuts being made, that was the time when I thought we should have split in just volleyball so that there could have been, there was plenty of Willow and Moose Lake kids to have two teams. But it didn't happen, and no, that kind of numbers don't happen anymore. So that's not an issue. I always just felt bad for all those girls that got cut. It hurt.
They did it to softball too, we had 16.
Yeah, there's so many kids. You don't see those numbers anymore like we used to. But that's just my little.
Any other further discussion? Then we have a motion to direct Bob to send a letter to the Willow River School Board stating that the Moose Lake School Board remains fully committed to the sports cooperative. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6 on agenda items, consider approving the propane quote.
We're gonna have Jeff talk on that one, he's the most.
Jeff, you want to tell us about propane?
Are we
Sure,
gonna abandon
please.
us now?
Everybody's leaving chat.
Everybody leaves.
Yes.
Well, I believe everybody received the email on the, email on the propane bids, this little, thing that was sent out.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
We received 3 bids on the propane. One of the companies that submitted a bid did not come up with all the equipment specified, so we kind of tossed them out. So basically came down to Federated and Como Oil for propane. I guess one of the decisions that needs to be made is, are we going to keep our diesel fuel tank, or are we going to get rid of our diesel fuel tank?
I could
Do we
make
need-
a
Yeah,
motion for
yeah,
that. I think we need to like Chris, because she
Much of
wanted
the
that.
discussion.
Do we need our diesel fuel tank?
In my opinion, not right now. No, I don't think we need it because it's gonna have to be, it needs some work done to it for one thing. This year we bought our fuel from Quick Trip, which was substantially cheaper than anybody that I know in the area that's buying fuel. So that it was pretty reasonable. There was a few issues with buying it up there. There's a little bit more work for bookkeepers and whatnot, but we're not going with diesel any longer, so
One
that's,
bus, right? We'll
we
still
have
have
one
bus.
diesel bus right now, that's all we have. So, you know, that is going to kind of sit in with the bids on the deal. One of the companies said that they will remove our diesel, both Federated and Como said they will remove our diesel tank at no charge. Como said they will give us $6,500 for our diesel tank plus remove it.
Is their bid a little higher on the gas?
Their bid, their propane bid was a little bit higher than Federated's bid, but if you figure the cost that they're gonna give us for that diesel tank, they're gonna come out 6 cents cheaper than Federated.
And the tank isn't very pretty.
That's, you're talking the diesel.
Lois?
Yeah.
Both companies will provide training for the employees. Federated said that they will provide training for the fire department. Another plus that, Como said that.
Is there a special way you pump or get the?
There's special nozzles that you hook up to the bus, and you just, and you go and flip the switch, and it looks like a gas pump, and it pumps it all by itself. But we had specifics in the bid on what type of pumping station we wanted, and Como and Federated came up with the same thing. But one more thing that Como has over Federated is they have pumping stations throughout northern and southern Minnesota. If we have to stop someplace, we can stop at one of Como's stations, basically propane outfits, and we can fuel our buses for the cost of our propane bid, where Federated can't really do that. They don't have.
And so it's a one-year contract, right?
Correct. The propane itself, the bid is for 1 year.
Which one is the Como that says that we're gonna do it?
This is right there. They will remove the tank and pay $6,500.
They actually pay us money for it.
They will not write a check for us, they will give us
that's-
$6,500 credit on it.
So do we need to say motion?
So we need a,
I can make that motion.
wanna make that motion?
Go down the freeway, you pass the
Second.
shuttle
Just a
from the
minute.
freeway,
Just
or
leave
from
it
the
as-
airport to the airport, they're propane. At least one of them is, I passed it.
We've got enough,
the other day.
the tanks have enough fuel to get down to Twin Cities area. The problem we have is we want to go for Joel.
All right, Jamie, go ahead.
I make the motion to accept Como's bids.
I'll second it.
All right, any further discussion? Questions? All right, all in favor of approving bid from Como for propane?
Aye.
Opposed?
Just a little technical thing, it's a quote, not a bid.
Quote,
So just
sorry,
a quote.
quote.
Got it.
Jamie was itching to
I can do that. Thank you.
So I will contact.
You can tell them to get rid of the
So
diesel
where-
tank as fast as possible.
Where do you pick up, are they?
They will supply us with the new pump.
Bob, okay, so it'll be at the drive,
Pumping station will be
No,
at the
I
garage.
wanted it right where it was
at
at.
a nice place, not right next to the elementary
They'll
playground.
put it right where the.
No, it's still right next to the elementary playground. I've got the best place for
It's,
it.
it's a lot smaller.
All right, well, thank you, Jeff.
Right there.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
We'll continue without Jamie. Our last agenda item is to approve, is to consider band summer lessons, 250 hours.
Yeah, I make that motion.
Right. All in favor of approving, we've got a motion, a second, is there any further discussion regarding band lessons?
You need those.
Exactly, I think this is a good deal, this is exciting. All in favor of approving band summer lessons, 150 hours, aye. Opposed, motion carries. We have informational purpose only student activity trial balance report.
Yeah, this is an awkward thing. We have to do it for you legally, so you have information on student fund balances, basically. So,
Maybe.
If you have any questions, I probably can't answer them, but
How many student activity funds do we have?
a lot of them. Did you ask that
Because
question?
I was just interested, and that doesn't include all the booster clubs, correct?
Did you, where's the information? There you go, back at you. It's on there, just find it.
Yeah, okay, I will.
Does not include those individual, no,
No.
that's their own.
Do we have to make a motion to do something about like having an audit of the boosters? All sports boosters?
That, I think it's part of, the boosters.
Yeah.
The boosters aren't part of this.
Well, we can't, that's like telling
What can't
us,
you,
that's like telling the JCs, you don't have money to us, we want an audit of you.
what if you're a parent and you want to audit all of ours? Well, how would that go about? You make them do that?
Well, it's
or
just
they-
like a separate, the boosters aren't us, so we can't tell them to do.
That's why they like to be boosters. I mean, the Minnesota State High School League recommends that you have one booster club for your whole school, and you run it through the school. But very few schools do that, and we know
People
why.
would want their booster clubs audited just to make sure that everything is on the up and up and you can just say it.
Yeah.
So we can't direct anything like that. We can do our student
Student
activity.
activity is ours. Boosters
And they're,
is
and they're checked
individual.
every year.
Yes.
Yeah, it's part of our audit that
Yes.
you get every year, yeah.
Can you find out how we ask for that? Either.
If we legally can, or if we just encourage
Oh,
or.
you mean for booster
For
club?
booster clubs, yeah.
Because when we do that audit, she gives that, the audit organization, that lady always gives us all the numbers.
All right.
We've asked them for a report, doesn't mean that they have to give it to us.
So next up is to set meeting and event dates.
So this is actually gonna be a difficult month, because I know, Lisa, you're gone for a time, I'm gone for a whole week this
June?
month, so we're gonna, let's go
Are we
through
talking
this.
June?
Yep.
I'm gone for a while,
Right,
so
June.
probably all of us say different
What if we
dates.
write down?
June
Can't
19th.
do.
Does June 19th work for the regular meeting?
Yeah, and then we got a 4 PM negotiations committee that day too.
Yeah,
That
June,
does-
That's
June
already set.
19th works for me.
That works.
That's
yeah.
why we set it on
Yeah.
June 19th,
We changed.
because,
Okay, so
so we know we got a regular meeting on June 19th at 6, and we have Ed Minnesota on June 19th at 4. We wrote that beforehand.
okay.
So those two should be okay.
Yeah.
So,
We need, is this a word, I'm sorry, go ahead, Bob.
I wrote down finance meeting, there's a couple of meetings I think we need to have, and that is, since we're in negotiations now, we should look at where we are at financially, where we're gonna, we'll guess where we're gonna end up, we're getting pretty close now, and then we'll estimate where we're gonna be next year.
And will the legislature be done by that time too, so if any changes, we would.
Well, they were supposed to
Yeah.
be, but obviously if they go in special session, then it could be later.
By
But that-
midnight tonight.
But that was the theory, is that we were gonna wait until they were done, that we're gonna have our finance, then we're gonna have a closed session to talk negotiation strategy. We know,
Which day?
we know that we're negotiating right now, but, you know, we're not to the meat of the negotiations yet, so.
No, finance.
For me, after talking to the teachers, that didn't make sense to meet so early in the year when we were kind of trying to make the numbers,
Right.
which we aren't gonna have until closer to
So the thing I was thinking about is the finance.
Sorry.
The thing I thought is maybe finance, I'm thinking that Jamie, Chris, and Steve, maybe you guys can meet during the day on the 19th? Is that something? Oh,
Not work for.
I'm working, but I should make it in.
okay.
Is there a better time that
There's not a
works?
better date or time unless it's after 6, so I think we have to stick with that. And if I'm not on the call, I can
You want a day shift now, should it actually?
in June.
In June.
Well, our regular meeting's at 6, and if you wanted to go after the regular meeting, we would just
That's up to these guys.
slide into that.
It could be later.
But I mean, we're gonna struggle getting dates, so if we have a kamikaze day where we line up the meetings, that's just the way it goes.
Can you do it early? I mean, can you?
That's what I mean, I
Yeah.
can do
Well,
it, it's just a matter of.
Whatever happens.
Yeah.
Should we
And
try?
actually,
Try
2
for
o'clock,
2.
if anything, would be better, because Bryce is still out.
2 o'clock.
Okay.
Can we try 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I wrote down 2 o'clock.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh, I'm not gonna say anything. Normal.
That's the way
Did we talk about this or what?
Oh, yeah, you should.
So then if-
Well, I haven't.
So then the other thing is that I was thinking is that, so finance will have met that day, we have our meeting, blah, 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 and then we close the meeting and go into negotiation strategy meeting that night. So it'd be after the board.
Oh, after the board meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you're buying pizza.
Can we just
right?
say after board
Bob's
meeting?
buying
or do
As
we
long
need
as
to-
you all
Put that
chip
down,
in,
Lisa.
don't, this,
Yeah,
I have a hard enough time with coffee for crying out loud.
Can we say after board meeting, is that enough? Do you need to actually post a time?
We'll put down 7:30,
7:30?
and then
We
That
can
makes
close,
us
we
be
can
done.
open again if we need to.
Yeah, so you made it by
Okay.
7:30 tonight.
Did I?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
okay, now hang on here. So we're missing.
Still left on.
We're missing AFSMI. Do we dare throw that on? Should we just go a different date, or do you want to try Ed, Minnesota for an hour and AFSMI for an hour?
No, I think that would be.
Okay, all right, well,
We have to actually know that, whatever that dancing guy's name is. Did he give you some
yes,
dates?
no.
Because how do we set a date when we don't know when they can
We
meet?
just, let's just get a couple dates if we can. So AFSMI, so it's Julie, Lisa, Jerry, okay. So, let's say the
Anytime's
19th.
fine with me, so that's not.
Should we try the 28th?
I'm not thinking.
Okay, you got the whole week?
Yeah, we do the 22nd, and I'm not sure if we're getting back to the night of the 28th, or if we're getting back to the night of the 30th. Depends if we get to Yellowstone.
20th, does 20th work, or are you leaving that?
20th is okay.
So June 20th I'll throw out there.
Wait a minute, what's on June 20th?
That's a
I
Tuesday.
know, but I've got something going on June 20th, and I can write it down. What is it? Shoot. Can I make a phone call, or?
Sure. Yeah.
We talk about another meeting while I,
Why don't we go into July?
So are we doing anything on the 4th up there? We're gonna do tours. July 4th up at that building.
We haven't talked, let's get the transition committee.
Okay,
I have
'cause-
to do that because we're canceling that first.
Okay, but
June 20th.
I would like
Something going on?
I would like to be on it. I mean, I would do tours.
Oh, it feels like there is something happening. It's a Tuesday. Yeah, see if you have something there.
I wanna see you guys run
How
I'll
about
take a tour another day.
liaison people?
Okay, all right,
Liaison.
sounds good.
Yep.
All right.
Liaison
Liaison.
people?
Yep.
We need to
I
talk
was trying
about
to figure out my
wrestling,
meeting here, so.
Yep.
Okay.
so let's pick a date for
Yeah,
that.
no, that's okay. Okay, thanks, okay, bye-bye.
You
20th
wanna
should be
also,
okay.
so you're gonna talk
Okay.
wrestling?
Okay, hang on here. So
So-
June 20th, how about July 12th? That's a Wednesday.
No,
How about July 10th?
Is this just for me, Lisa? And
I'm sorry, I
This is all
switched,
we're back to.
I switched gears.
I'm sorry.
This is
Back
asking,
to-
Okay.
Ken should be okay if it's in the
Liaison's
evening,
gonna
that's
talk
my garden
wrestling.
tour that day.
You guys wanna talk golf?
Okay, July 10th.
Other
If I want to take a garden tour.
other sports, and just bring us a recommendation of what you want, what you think we
July
could do.
10th is
And then we can go
Yeah.
back and maybe the recommendation is.
What
we'll-
time?
No, is it December already?
better.
Whatever.
The 11th.
I'm on the garden for 2 weeks.
Does the 11th work for you?
11th?
Chad?
Yeah, 11th works, well, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
What time?
what's
4?
4 o'clock? I'll give those 3 dates, and just know the first one is our rules
Okay,
thing too.
I've only got 2, so which one did I miss?
Okay, June
June
20th,
20th,
July 10th, July
Oh.
11th.
June
July
20th?
10th doesn't work for me.
So
Sorry.
July 11th.
So June 20th or July 11th at 4 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so liaison people, we need to talk about wrestling. We'll invite Peter and Sarah to that one, so
Can they also talk about golf?
golf.
And can they also talk about location of other sports, like the future of location of other sports? If you're gonna,
I
if
think that
you're
will be a
interested,
discussion about the football program.
yeah, if you're interested in moving sports back and forth, why doesn't the liaison talk about that and bring us a recommendation?
Future
Future
placement,
placement or future location of sports,
location of practice and
practice
games.
and games, and just kind of what does that future look like?
Okay. Let's not put that one on the 19th then. So, okay, throw out a date there. I'm the week of the 12th through the 16th, I'm gone.
My dog was chewing on this thing. She was on everything.
I mean, I could meet the week of the 5th through the 9th, somewhere in there.
8th and 9th, I'm working the state's off tonight.
Are you talking June?
June.
Okay, I'm not here the first 2 weeks in June.
Oh, okay, so the 1st through the 10th you're gone, then I'm gone the 12th through the 16th, so now we're on the 3rd week, which
And I've
is,
got the 22nd.
got that marathon 19. Yeah, but you're not on the
But-
So
ASON.
you and a shot.
Should we do it on the 20th after our negotiation meeting, if it's,
In July.
so we could do it like at 6 on the 20th.
20th at
Are you
6.
there?
6 p.m.
Okay, yep.
Because
That's
we-
liaison.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that you're at. Oh, you're at.
Do you know that the negotiations will be a sharp one?
Yeah, we'll be sure.
And you, Jamie, you need 6 o'clock, not 5? Alright.
So then we'll draft the advice, so it's, yeah.
Yeah, should we move Ask Me to 5 o'clock that night? If they can do
That
it?
should be a.
Because then it's not just a half, it's what we got in half an hour, I mean, that's the first meeting.
Yeah.
Just for the 20th
I'll
at
see if
5?
I can work it in.
Yeah, just for the 20th.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna propose those.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 o'clock to Monday or 5 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, what about the working
Thank you.
meeting?
Working meeting is, we didn't do
Oh,
that.
that's right.
Alright.
I say we not do that usually.
Okay,
Well, when does the city
It has
need,
to be done.
does the city need,
they don't need
They don't need
anything, but I was
anything.
thinking that could be part of our playground thing, but maybe not, because it's gonna be minuscule, I guess. That's fine, let's,
what about the, July 4th? Is anybody open that?
let's set it here. Even if it's in July, let's set a date in July where.
What's a Monday there?
Yeah.
Second one, what's a Monday?
Can we do the week of July 24th?
The 3rd. July 3rd,
July
July
3rd.
10th.
Oh, not the 3rd, are you serious? I'll be
What's the next?
a wreck.
10th.
Jen?
Someone couldn't do the 10th.
I
You
can't do
do
the
July
10th.
10th?
Yeah. that's not
Which
fair.
meeting is that?
If we do it July, well, July.
the
We have a
working
working board meeting.
But we're gonna end up
Doesn't
with
have
a
to be on a
regular
Monday.
board meeting on July 17th,
Well,
probably.
Let's do it after
12th of
Ask
July.
Me. Let's do it after, I can't do it on 12th.
Well, we
We
could
could do it after
Ask Me
Ask
on the
Me
11th.
on the 11th.
This
How
working
about-
board meeting is about the new school and
Talking about fields and how we're gonna go about
Facilities.
getting
I'd like
the
to do that.
facilities we
Yeah.
want.
Oh, it needs to be after your June 20, no, it doesn't. It just
Well,
needs to be.
first of all, these AFS me ones, we don't know for sure if they're good dates or not, but
Who's
we
gone the
can,
last
you know what, we
week
can
of-
set it on the 11th and set it at exactly what you just
Yeah,
said.
afterwards.
so we can't do the working board that 3rd week in June at all?
What day is that?
Because we've got the 19th, the 20th, finance, blah, 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 the athletic liaison, the 20th. Can't we do something 21, 20?
Julie's gone, the 21's on.
Can we,
Are you going to first?
No.
can we discuss that at our regular meeting on the 19th?
21st?
Can we do the 21st?
I guess I don't take that long to pack.
Does it have to be a,
Get payroll done.
does it have to be a
I get to
working
6
meeting?
meetings that week.
If we're already meeting on the 19th, can we just throw it on the regular board meeting as discussion?
No, I'd rather not. I think there's more
The bigger,
to discuss.
How about June 21st then?
That's my birthday.
Ooh,
Hey.
good. June
June
21st at
21st?
6 p.m.
June 21st?
That's the working meeting?
Yes. Does that work?
That works.
We'll have more meetings
What time?
that week, but that's okay.
6
Every
p.m.
night that week.
Yeah, boy, we'll be friends.
And I'm gonna be gone. Nice to have some time working in my garden for that garden tour.
Are we separating the
Oh.
facilities for a facilities meeting or?
No, finance, I don't have a facilities meeting. We have a working meeting,
Okay.
whole board, I think
All right.
there's a.
June 21st.
What time was that working meeting?
June 21st at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Time.
Can you add to that agenda the use of the Oaks? Jim,
Use
and
of-
what we're gonna thinking of doing
For that working meeting?
Not the other facility?
Yeah. Mike's already worried about Memorial Day at Veterans Park next Memorial Day.
Yeah.
I heard from them.
Julie?
But I think we'll have this.
I teach
still.
that early childhood, yeah, preschool.
But I think we gotta discuss how much it's gonna cost, what it's gonna look like.
I teach
Yeah,
preschool,
We gotta put
the
some
early
ideas
childhood.
around that.
Mhm. Here in Muscle.
All right.
At least.
Is that everything?
That's everything.
All right.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second? I'll second that. Any discussion?
Good, yeah.
All in favor of adjournment? Aye.
Aye. But you need to go
Opposed?
to with them.
Carries.
She's in Colorado.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, that's right.
Do you need this? Yeah, we'll get everything.
Yeah, we got neither Sharon nor Linda in the office right now.
Nice.
When is,
Bob is running things.
Kara gonna
Sherry
start
back
coming?
tomorrow?